Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namaha Vishnupadaya Krishna-presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami-niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Deshatarane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Shri Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, dear Prabhujis, we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized. And now we are reading the 56th verse, another very beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita. So Lord Shri Krishna, he continues his instruction on samadhisthasya, sthita-dhi-pragyasya, symptoms of a person situated in divine consciousness. So Lord Shri Krishna says to Arjunji, Dukkheshu anudvigna-manaha, sukheshu vigatispriha, vitarag-bhaya krodha, sthita-dhir-muni-ruchyate. Dukkheshu anudvigna-manaha, sukheshu vigatispriha, वीतराग-भया क्रोधा स्थित धीर मुनिरुच्यते. दुःखेषु अनुद्विग्नमनः सुखेषु विगत स्पृहा वीतराग-भया क्रोधा स्थित धीर मुनिरुच्यते. दुःखेषु अनुद्विग्नमनः सुखेषु विगत स्पृहा वीतराग-भया क्रोधा स्थित धीर मुनिरुच्यते. Dukkeshu, in the threefold miseries, anudvignamanaha, without being agitated in mind. Sukheshu, in happiness, vigat spriha, without being too interested, vit, free from, raga, attachment, bhaya, fear, krodha, anger, sthitadhi, one who is steady, munihi, sage, uchyate, is called. One who is not disturbed in spite of the threefold miseries, who is not elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. Very beautiful verse. One who is not disturbed in spite of the threefold miseries, who is not elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. So in the purport, Swami Srila Prabhupada writes, the word Muni means one who can agitate his mind in various ways for mental speculation, without coming to a factual conclusion. It is said that every Muni has a different angle of vision, and unless a Muni differs from other Munis, he cannot be called a Muni in the strict sense of the term. Na asu munir yasya matam na bhinnam. But a sthita-dhi-muni, as mentioned herein by the Lord, is a different from ordinary Muni. The sthita-dhi-muni is always in Krishna consciousness, for he has exhausted all his business of creative speculation. He has exhausted all his business of creative speculation. He has surpassed the stage of mental speculations and has come to the conclusion that Lord Shri Krishna or Vasudeva is everything. He is called a Muni fixed in mind. Such a fully Krishna conscious person is not at all disturbed by the onslaughts of the threefold miseries, for he accepts all miseries as the mercy of the Lord, thinking himself only worthy of more trouble due to his past misdeeds. And he sees that his miseries by the grace of the Lord are minimized to the lowest. Similarly, when he is happy, he gives credit to the Lord, thinking himself unworthy of the happiness. He realizes that it is due only to the Lord's grace that he is in such a comfortable condition and able to render better service to the Lord. And for the service of the Lord, he is always daring and active, and is not influenced by attachment or aversion. Attachment means accepting things for one's own sense gratification, and detachment is the absence of such sensual attachment. But one fixed in Krishna consciousness has neither attachment nor detachment, because his life is dedicated in the service of the Lord. Consequently, he is not at all angry, even when his attempts are unsuccessful. A Krishna conscious person is always steady in his determination. So very beautiful verse and very beautiful purport. So many Krishna conscious concepts in the purport. So dukkheshu anudvigna manaha sukheshu vigat spriha. So Lord Shri Krishna, he is describing the symptoms of a person who is situated in divine consciousness, sthita-dhi, sthita-pragyasya, samadhisthasya. And now he is describing another symptom. He is saying dukkheshu anudvigna manaha, anudvigna, vigna manaha, udvigna. So these words, Sanskrit words, so udvigna means getting disturbed or agitated. So anudvigna means without being agitated in mind. So anudvigna manaha, without being agitated in mind. So dukkheshu anudvigna manaha, dukkheshu, in distress or in misery. So one who is not disturbed in spite of threefold miseries. Because in this material world there are threefold miseries: adi devik, adi bhautik, adhyatmik. So dukkha means threefold miseries. So one who is not disturbed or one who is not agitated in his mind when there is dukkha or threefold miseries. And sukheshu vigat spriha, sukheshu, in happiness, vigat spriha, free from. One is not too much elated, vigat spriha, without being too interested. So when there is material happiness, the person is not too much elated or too much interested. So one who is not agitated in mind in case of threefold miseries, and he is not very much interested in material happiness. Vigat spriha, dukkheshu anudvigna manaha, sukheshu vigat spriha, veet rag bhaya, veeta, free from, raga, attachment, bhaya, fear, krodha, anger, veet rag bhaya, krodha, veeta, free from. So veet, free from, raga, attachment, bhaya, fear, krodha, anger, sthita-dhi, one who is steady, muni, sage, sthita-dhi-muni uchyate, is called. So one who is not disturbed in spite of threefold miseries, who is not elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear and anger. Veet, rag, bhaya, krodha, free from attachment, free from raga, free from krodha, veet, rag, bhaya, krodha, rag, free from attachment, free from bhaya, fear, and free from krodha, anger. So who is free from attachment, fear and anger is called a sage of steady mind. So Munihi, so Swami Srila Prabhupada has explained in the purport, Muni refers to people. So Rishi and Muni, there are various types of transcendentalist, or those who are trying to understand the absolute truth, or those who are trying to engage in the process of yoga to have communion with the Supreme Soul or the Supreme Self or the Supreme Person, Personality of Godhead. So among the transcendentalists there are rishis, those who do physical tapasya, and then there are munis who do mental tapasya, those who can agitate their mind in various ways. And Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing without coming to a factual conclusion. Because unless one understands the absolute truth, Vasudevam Sarvamiti, so all mental speculations, so mental speculations without devotional service is a mere waste of time. So Swami Srila Prabhupada, he is explaining Muni, and one can call be a Muni in strict sense only when he has different conclusion. Matam na bhinnam. So there are so many philosophers. Muni generally refers to people who can do mental exercises or mental tapasya. And Rishi refers to people who can do physical asana, pranayam, so many other sorts of tapasya. So one philosopher should differ. In the modern day also we know that one philosopher should differ. To have his own standing, one should differ in one's theory or one's conclusion. One should differ. So na asu munir yasya matam na bhinnam. So in a strict sense, one can call be a real muni only when his conclusion. So they have different angles of vision. A muni tries to see a thing with a different angle. So they are known as muni. So the word muni means one who can agitate his mind in various ways for mental speculation without coming to a factual conclusion. It is said that every muni has a different angle of vision, and unless a muni differs from other munis, he cannot be called a muni in strict sense of term. Na su munir yasya matam na bhinnam. But sthita-dhi-muni, Lord Shri Krishna here he is saying Veet Rag Bhaya Krodha sthita-dhi-muni ruchyate. A sage of steady intelligence. He is free from Veet Raga Bhaya. He is free from Raga, Bhaya and Krodha. He is free from attachment. He is free from fear and he is free from anger. He is not disturbed or agitated in his mind when there are threefold miseries in case of threefold miseries, and he is not interested. He is not interested in material happiness. So he is not disturbed when there is distress or material misery or suffering, and he is not too much elated or interested when there is material happiness. He is completely free from raga, bhaya, and krodha. He is free from attachment, he is free from fear, and he is free from anger. So, sthita-dhi-muni, Swami Srila Prabhupada has explained in the purport, which Lord Shri Krishna here he is talking about, a person who has already achieved divine consciousness or transcendental consciousness, Krishna consciousness. He is a different muni. He is a sage of steady mind. He has exhausted, Swami Srila Prabhupada has written in the purport that he has already exhausted all sort of material mental speculation or creative mental speculation. Swami Srila Prabhupada wrote in the purport. He is no more interested in agitating his mind because he knows the absolute truth. Vasudevam Sarvamiti, Swami Srila Prabhupada has explained. He has come to the conclusion, he has come to absolute conclusion. So Muni they agitate their mind, or Muni they do mental exercises. A philosopher, thinking is the work of a philosopher. So philosopher think to come to a conclusion, to a final conclusion. So there are so many Muni or sages in this world, they are constantly, some are transcendentalists, some are doing physical tapasya, and some are doing mental tapasya to come to a final conclusion, to know or to understand the absolute truth. But a sthita-dhi muni, or one who has attained divine consciousness, is a different muni because he has attained divine consciousness on behalf of divine spiritual understanding or knowledge, that Vasudevam Sarvamiti. He has reached absolute conclusion. And because he has reached absolute conclusion that Vasudevam Sarvamiti, Swami Srila Prabhupada has explained in the purport, or Krishna is everything, Vasudevam Sarvamiti, Sarva Karana Karanam, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha Nadiradir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna is the cause of all causes. So one who has understood this, he is there is no need for him for any extra mental speculation. he has exhausted all his business of creative mental speculation or concoction, because he has come to the conclusion that Vasudevam Sarvamiti. And such a sage, sthita-dhi-muni, such a sage of steady mind is always engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. One who has completely realized one's action speaks louder than words. So our actions speaks louder than words. If one has realized something, then he will act accordingly. It is a very important principle. If one has realized something, then his actions will be according to his realizations, will be according to his understanding. So one who has realized that Vasudevam Sarvamiti, Vasudeva is everything, Vasudevam Sarvamiti, sa Mahatma, he becomes a Mahatma, a great soul, and he engages himself in the service of the Vasudevaha, in the service of Supreme Self, in the service of Supreme Personality of Godhead, understanding himself, understanding the fact that one is part and parcel of the Supreme Self. Supreme Soul is soul is part and parcel of the Super Soul. Every living being is part and parcel of the Supreme Being, and hence he engages in the act of devotional service. And that's why Swami Srila Prabhupada explained he is free from raga, bhaya and krodha. So attachment, raga, he is free from attachment. So Swami Srila Prabhupada has explained that attachment means because we are fallen in the conditioned state, because we have material desires. So actions which satisfy our material desires, or which gives us sense gratification, which gives happiness to our material senses and to our material mind, we are very much attached in doing those things. We are attached to doing those things which give us mental satisfaction, which give us sensual satisfaction, which pleases our material mind and our material senses. So that is attachment. We become attached to doing those things which give us material satisfaction. And detachment means we are not interested in doing things which do not give us sensual pleasure, which do not give us sense gratification, which do not pleases our material mind. So actions or work which do not pleases one's material senses and material mind, one is disinterested in doing those things. So attachment and aversion. So one is attached to doing something and one is averse or detached to doing something on the material plane. It happens because till one is situated on the material plane. But when one is on the spiritual platform, when one has realized the self, when one has realized the super self, then he is no more interested in material sense gratification. Sukheshu vigati spriha, he is not interested. He is not interested in material pleasures, and hence one always tries to serve the Supreme Lord, and he is free from bhaya. So as Swami Srila Prabhupada explained in the purport, he is very daring. A person situated in Krishna consciousness knows very well that these actions which are meant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord are for one's eternal benefit, are for one's liberation. So he is free from fear, and he is very daring and steady in doing work which are meant for the pleasure of the Supreme Self or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one is free from raga, and if one gets miseries in due course of his devotional service, then one thinks that one is worthy of even more. A person who is the sthita-dhi, one who is situated in divine consciousness, he thinks that his miseries are reduced by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Because one is trying to serve the Supreme Lord, so his miseries, he was supposed to get more, he was worthy for more. So that is the thinking of a person who is, Swami Srila Prabhupada has explained in the purport, a devotee of the Supreme Lord. He always thinks that it is just by the grace of the Supreme Lord that one is able to get very less reaction of his past misdeeds. He is only able to get token reaction, Swami Srila Prabhupada used to say. So he is able to tolerate all the threefold miseries with that understanding and always remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and hence in his mind, even though if the body is suffering, one is not disturbed, one's consciousness is not disturbed. So dukkheshu anudvignamanaha. So thus he is free from raga and he is free from fear. He is very, very daring, he is very steady because he knows very well by serving the Supreme Lord, by satisfying the Supreme Lord, he can satisfy everyone, those who are related with him, including himself. So Vit Rag Bhaya Krodha, and Swami Srila Prabhupada also mentioned, because a person who is steady in Krishna consciousness, his aim, as we saw in the previous purports, his aim is Param Padam. He is no more interested in this material world and he want to liberate himself. He want to get permanent salvation, and thus he is not angry when his attempts are unsuccessful. He go on attempting again and again, again and again, because his goal is fixed. His goal is Param Padam. He has understood very well that this material world is full of miseries, and hence he tries to make a permanent solution by liberating, by going back in his own constitutional position, understanding well that he is a eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. So he tries to go back in his constitutional position, and thus he is not at all angry when his attempts to serve the Supreme Person are failures. So he is free from, hence he is free from Vit Raga Bhaya Krodha, and thus he is sthita-dhi-muni, a sage of steady mind. So, but as Swami Srila Prabhupada has written, but a sthita-dhi-muni, as mentioned herein by the Lord, is a different from ordinary muni. Is different from an ordinary muni. The sthita-dhi-muni is always a Krishna conscious, is always in Krishna consciousness, for he has exhausted all his business of creative speculation. He has surpassed the stage of mental speculations and has come to the conclusion that Lord Shri Krishna or Vasudeva is everything. He is called a Muni fixed in mind. Such a fully Krishna conscious person is not at all disturbed by the onslaughts of the threefold miseries, for he accepts all miseries as the mercy of the Lord, thinking himself only worthy of more troubles due to his past misdeeds, and he sees that his miseries by the grace of the Lord are minimized to the lowest. A devotee of the Supreme Lord, he always thinks that his miseries, and he not only he thinks like that, it is actually like that. The Supreme Lord, he only gives token reaction to his devotees, as explained by Swami Srila Prabhupada, so that a devotee comes to know about his past misdeeds, but the Supreme Lord, he gives protection to his devotee. Sarvadharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshasyami. So Supreme Lord, he also keeps his promise. He gives protection to his devotee, but still the token reaction comes in life of devotee so that he can understand the nature of this material world, and he can understand that if one is not Krishna conscious, then he can commit actions which can cause great sufferings in future. So That's why Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing, thinking himself only worthy of more trouble due to his past misdeeds. And he sees that his miseries by the grace of the Lord are minimized to the lowest. Similarly, when he is happy, he gives credit to the Lord. Thinking himself unworthy of such happiness, he realizes that it is due to only of the Lord grace that he is in such a comfortable condition and able to render better service to the Lord. So when a devotee is in happiness, when a devotee gets material happiness, he thanks the Supreme Lord that it is just by his grace that he is getting a comfortable situation to serve the Lord in a better way. And for the service of the Lord, he is always daring and active and is not influenced by attachment or aversion. So, devotee of the Supreme Lord, he is fixed in his mind for Nishkam Karma, for devotional service, and hence he is not at all influenced by attachment or aversion. And Swami Srila Prabhupada explains attachment means accepting things for one's own sense gratification, and detachment is the absence of such sensual attachment. But one fixed in Krishna consciousness has neither attachment nor detachment. Those who are fixed in Krishna consciousness, they have nothing to do with any sort of material attachment or material detachment. They are not attached to doing something and they are not averse to doing something. They do things which pleases the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They do things for the satisfaction of the Super Self. They do things for salvation or liberation of the self. So they have nothing to do with attachment or detachment, because his life, one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness, has neither attachment nor detachment, because his life is dedicated in the service of the Lord. Consequently, he is not at all angry even when his attempts are unsuccessful. A Krishna conscious person is always steady in his determination. So, a Krishna conscious person or a God conscious person who has understood Vasudevam Sarvamati, Supreme Lord is the cause of all causes, and one who has understood that he is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and by serving the Supreme Lord one can do benefit to himself, one can render best service to himself, to society, to his friends, to his nation, to everyone connected with oneself. Yasmin tushte jagat tushte. So that person, a Krishna conscious person, is always steady in his determination because of his understanding. So satachit ananda. So one can state, one can understand, one can achieve that state or that understanding by the grace of a bona fide spiritual master. So, in that sense, we are very, very fortunate that we are understanding the purports of Lord Shri Krishna's beautiful teachings through His Divine Grace, Abhay Charnarvinda Bhaktivedanta, Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is one of the pure devotees of Supreme Lord and a bona fide Acharya or Guru in Brahma Gaudiya Madhva Sampradaya. So Dukkheshu Anudvignamanaha Sukkheshu Vigat Spriha Vitarag Bhaya Krodha sthita-dhi-muni ruchyate. One who is not disturbed in spite of threefold miseries, who is not elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. So in the next verse, again Lord Shri Krishna will explain other symptoms, and so in our next session we'll take up the next verse and we'll try to understand its meaning through the beautiful purport of Swami Srila Prabhupada and remembering his teachings. So with this, I would like to stop this session here. Jai Vishnupad Paramhans Parivrajacharya Ashtotrashat Shri Srimad Divine Grace Abhay Charnarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ji Ki Jai. All glories to Krishna Kripa Murti, His Divine Grace Abhay Charnarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Lord Shri Krishna, all glories to Bhagavad Gita, all glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Holy name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.